Hey there, it's Scott at the Pedal Guy. How you doing? We're all about pedal demos, pedal knowledge, and pedal sales. I love pedals, and so do you. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the differences between the NuX MG30 and the HeadRush MX5. I've received a lot of questions about these, and everybody's asking me to give them an opinion. So I'm going to try to help you come to your own conclusion here, as I've done through my pedal versus pedal series, and we're going to do this over the course of 2 videos. But before we get to it, if this is your first visit to my channel, take a second, click on that subscribe button down there, give me a thumbs up, help my video rank in the YouTube algorithm so that I can make more content for you. So I want to stress this point very quickly here, that in this video, I'm just going to be talking about the differences between these 2 products, and then in a separate video later this week, I'm going to give you some audio examples between the 2 so that you can make a much more informed decision. So without further ado, let's start talking about those differences. Let's just briefly talk about price point. There is a $100 delta between these 2 products. The MG30 is $299 and the MX5 is $399. What it comes down to is this: which one is going to suit your needs best? So think about that before you start thinking about the price point. While there are definitely pros and cons in either direction, it really comes down to what you need from your multi-effects processor. Looking at the back of the HeadRush, you have your guitar input, expression pedal input, you have a stereo effects send and return on the back of the MX5, you have stereo outputs, you have your headphone output, auxiliary input, and you have a MIDI in and MIDI out, and you have a standard USB port. Now the NuX MG30 has its guitar input, auxiliary input, it has a headphone output, it has a send and return, which are mono, it has a stereo pair left-right outputs, it has an expression pedal input, and it also is a USB-C peripheral. Oh, and by the way, it also includes the NMP2 as well, so you get 2 additional foot switches. Now when it comes to processing, there is a pretty big difference in power between the MG30 and the MX5. The MG30 has a dual-core processor, while the MX5 has a quad-core processor. So that means more effects, more EQs, more everything. But don't let that be the only deciding factor when you're trying to make a choice between the 2, because you can get great sounds out of both of them regardless of the processing power, but just know that that is a factor that you should consider. Now when it comes to the amount of amps and effects and all of that great stuff, the MX5 definitely has a lot more, because the MX5 has 46 amps, 15 cabinets, 10 microphones, up to 300 impulse responses, and 63 effects. By comparison, the MG30 has 30 amps, 16 cabinets, it has 47 effects, and it has 8 microphones. And it does have some impulse responses, but nowhere near 300. Now the MG30 has a phrase looper built into it, meaning it can't load and save loops, but you can create loops on the go. So it's very easy to access. You just tap the 2 foot switches to access the looper. You've got control over your loop and your drum. This is based on the JTC, so you can play something into it and the MG30 will figure out whatever tempo you're at. But where it really stands out, of course, is that the fact that it's got drum loops built into it as well. So it's got different styles, it's got different time signatures. You can change the tempo, you can change the volume of the drum machine or the looper, and you can record, as far as the looper goes, you can record in either mono or stereo. It's pretty easy to do, and you get a nice graphic interface to go along with it. So it is a great feature, but at the same time, it isn't something that you can create a loop here and then save it and take it and use it somewhere else at some other time. So it's all about real time with the MG30 looper. Now the HeadRush has a dedicated looper as well, which can be accessed by using the 2nd foot switch, press and hold it, and you get your looper here. Now unlike the one on the MG30, this is not a phrase looper. You can load in loops, you can save loops, there's a lot of things you can do there. But additionally to that, you can record up to 20 minutes here and have 50 different layers as well. So that's a bit different. Now when it comes to editing, the MG30 has its own dedicated editor software called QuickTone, which I've done several videos on, and you can check them out in the MG30 playlist. And this is a great way to edit all of your presets, to set up the MG30 as an audio interface, to access some of those great MIDI functionalities, things like that. So there are a lot of good things you can do with the QuickTone editor. By contrast, the MX5 does not have its own dedicated editing software. Everything is done from the touchscreen, and this is part of the HeadRush philosophy that's always been implemented from day one, where they want you to be able to make all the changes from the touchscreen. So you can create your own rig and customize it any way you want to quite easily. You can click and drag to get rid of different effects in your rig. You can add them by simply using the touchscreen and selecting whatever you'd like. So there is a lot of versatility to this particular feature with the MX5. Now, if you happen to be a MIDI enthusiast like me, you're probably going to want to pay attention here. So when it comes to the HeadRush, the good news is that they do supply a MIDI in and out on the back. They have the cables that come with it in the box, so that's really helpful. And that enables you to set up external MIDI controllers to control specific aspects of the HeadRush. So if you want to turn off and on signal blocks, if you want to set up a whole dedicated row of MIDI foot switches for the looper, you can do all of that. It's very easy to do. When it comes to the MG30, it's unfortunately a little more complicated, but what they did is they supplied the NMP2 foot switch to help you get over the hurdle on most of those things. So I've actually done a video that shows you how to use the NMP2 effectively with the MG30. So you do have that going for you. If you do want to do MIDI though on the MG30, it absolutely is possible because it does send and receive MIDI via the USB-C port. So what you would need to do is use an external peripheral like a computer or say an iPhone or an Android device, and you could control the MG30 that way. Now, I may be a dealer, but I also do buy products for my own personal use. And when I do that, one thing I do absolutely look at is what is the online support scenario for a particular product that I'm thinking about. It doesn't matter if it's something that I use musically or technologically or whatever. I want to make sure that there's actual support. And what I'm really happy to say is that it doesn't matter when it comes to either the MG30 or the MX5. They both have really great support options because they have direct support through their websites, but they also have really good, thriving communities on Facebook. There's a lot of good Facebook groups where people are helping each other and they can pretty much answer any questions. And in fact, you'll probably see me more often than not on those forums talking about things and trying to help people. But in any case, if that's something that you're using as a deciding factor between these two products, rest assured that you're covered really well there. Well, that concludes this video. I hope you found it helpful. Now be sure to come back later this week for the follow-up video where I'll give you some actual audio demonstrations. Take care. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, be sure to visit us at thepedalguy.com. But in the meantime, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly videos and tutorials. Thanks for stopping by here at thepedalguy.com, where I love pedals and so do you.